Here's the deal nobody tells you about the BRRRR method. Most properties you find will not work. And if you try to force a mediocre deal into the BRRRR model, you'll trap your cash for years or lose money on the refinance. So, how do you spot the properties that actually deserve your attention? You need three things working together. Miss one, the whole strategy falls apart. First, the discount. Your all-in cost, purchase price plus every dollar of rehab, needs to land at 70 to 75% of ARV or less. Why that tight? Because when the appraiser shows up 6 months later to refinance you out, you need enough equity cushion that the bank will cut you a check for most of your capital back. Buy at 85% of ARV and the math dies. Doesn't matter if the rent looks beautiful. You won't have equity to extract, which means your cash stays locked in the deal and you can't repeat the process. Here's a quick litmus test. If you're looking at a property worth $200,000 after rehab, your total invested, purchase plus renovation, should be around $150,000 or less. That $50,000 gap is what makes the refinance work. Second piece, the neighborhood. BRRRR properties need tenants, and not just any tenants. You need consistent rental demand. A-class neighborhoods sound nice, high ARVs, low crime, but the purchase prices are so inflated your cash-on-cash return gets crushed. You make equity, but your monthly cash flow is anemic. D-class neighborhoods flip the problem. Low buy-in, sure, but you'll deal with higher vacancy, constant maintenance calls, and tenants who disappear mid-lease. The BRRRR sweet spot, B and C-class areas. Working-class neighborhoods where people pay rent on time, vacancy runs low, and you can fill a unit in 30 days or less. Stable rents, stable tenants, stable cash flow. That's the engine. Third, the rental analysis. Before you ever make an offer, run the numbers on monthly rent versus your carrying costs. Rent has to cover PTE, that's principal, interest, taxes, insurance, plus property management at 8 to 10%, plus a maintenance reserve. And if the rent doesn't clear those hurdles, it's not a BRRRR, it's a break-even headache. So where do you actually find these properties? You're not going to stumble into them on Zillow. You need motivated sellers in the right neighborhoods, and that takes filters and targeting. This is where FlipMantis List Builder becomes your hunting tool. You can pull lists of absentee owners with high equity and zip codes where the rent-to-price ratio is over 1%. Then stack on tax delinquency or code violations to find sellers who actually need to move a property. The platform shows you estimated rent right next to ARV and rehab estimates, so you can screen 20 deals in 10 minutes instead of spending hours running calculations on properties that never had a chance. Most investors waste weeks chasing properties that look good on the surface but collapse when you stress test the numbers. You can't afford that. Every hour spent analyzing a bad deal is an hour you didn't spend on the one that actually works. Next lesson, we're going to walk through exactly how to run those BRRRR numbers, step by step, so you know within 5 minutes whether a property is worth pursuing or not.